tongues. What? Enormous tongues. We're going to look at movies that feature gigantic tongues.
That cannot be the topic.
That is the topic. This is Video Vulture. Welcome to Video Vulture. I'm your host, John Tebbutt, and I'm here with Tom Bagley and Cody Cook.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
No tongue twisters.
Sorry.
Let's go to the whiteboard.
Okay, so we have 7 giant tongue films to get through, so let's not waste any time. Let's get started. So right here we have a diagram of an average schmuck, and he's got an average-sized tongue, although he probably wishes...
Let's begin with the surreal 1989 horror comedy Dr. Caligari, in which Dr. Caligari, the granddaughter of the original from the 1920 classic, is treating Mrs. Van Houten, a crazy person who is hallucinating a vast, giant, disturbing wall of flesh with like eyes and weeping sores and a mouth right in the middle. Now the mouth grows to the size of a beach ball and gives Mrs. Van Houten a good licking. So tongue length about yay big. Our next film...
Our second film is entitled Aswang, which is from around 1994, and it features a Filipino folk horror character, a blood-sucking monster that sucks the blood out of the unborn. And there's this one scene where it falls off of a roof and manages to get its tongue snarled up on the top here, and it's dangling down. Tongue length approximately 14 feet. Next up,
So next up, we have a memorable long-tongued character named Toad.
Oh, like that guy from the X-Men, this guy.
What? No, not Toad from the X-Men. Toad from the Alex Winters 1993 cult classic Freaked. This Toad character is a creepy guy that sits around and steals things with his long tongue. So I guess he is kind of like the X-Men character, but whatever. This one, he like snatches up cigarettes, and at one point he pulls a plane out of the sky and eats it. So I'd say his tongue on average is about 25 feet, except for maybe the plane scene where it's 250 feet.
Next up is a classic, Shaolin Invincibles.
Again?
Yes, again. Last time we talked about Shaolin Invincibles, we only focused on the sword-proof kung fu gorillas. We didn't get a chance to talk about Black and White, the two kung fu weirdos who fight with their tongues.
this is a weird film.
Damn right! All right, these guys have tongue length of about 3 feet each, and the hero ties their tongues together and wins the battle that way. Shaolin Invincibles.
Next up in our tongue horror film overview, we're going to talk about the classic 1987 Tsui Hark film, Chinese Ghost Story, which was the first Chinese horror film to make it into the Western Hemisphere, and it sort of raised the profile of that entire genre. And it's it's got a little bit of everything. It's a romantic comedy, it's got some martial arts stuff and some wizardry, and it's all got a lot of Evil Dead feel with the trees, and there's even stop motion mummies in it as well, which we could have talked about in the last one. However, there is a giant tree spirit, the evil tree demon, and it has a tongue which chases people around, and it keeps extending and going through the forest and around the house and trying to get into the guy's mouth there, and its length is easily over 100 feet.
Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about is a pretty unknown film. It was virtually unreleased, called Killer Tongue from 1996. The movie is not very good though, but it revolves around a young woman who's waiting for her boyfriend to be released from prison. She eats a little bit of a meteorite, and her tongue turns into this giant sentient kind of creature that kills people and then impregnates her. It's kind of weird, not great, and you probably won't see it anywhere unless you go on Tubi and look up Tongue Girl, because the name isn't even correct. But I mean, it's a good cast. It's lots of cool practical effects, especially with the tongue creature. I'd say this tongue pretty damn long. No, stop.
Finally, we have Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. The hero has a tiny face on the end of his tongue, and that little face reaches out into the sky and wraps itself around a giant flying Egyptian pyramid that is actually a spaceship that's invading the Earth. tongue length, simply ludicrous. That's it for the Giant Tongue episode. Thanks for watching!